Hey, Skip and Gail, this is Tony. Well, I've got your new site up. This is it. I hope you like it. Right now, I'm keeping the design very simple. I just kind of discovered that over time, if you make a design really complex, and then you start putting a whole bunch of images up, which I'm assuming you guys are going to want to really show your this thing off, and you're going to want a lot of images. So I thought I'd keep the design kind of simple, and that way the eye would get more directed towards the content and what was on the page. So I just took those photos and made a little collage out of it and made you a little logo. I hope you like it. Um, and here's your menu. I took the menus off your existing site just to kind of have something to throw up there that you can see. So let's get to it. Let me show you how to get to the back end. First of all, your temporary URL is going to be woodlands.tedwebdesign.com. I put this in an email so you can see it. And that's going to how you're going to get to your site. And when you're ready to move over, it's very easy. We just change the domain and point it to my server, and this would become your site. So whatever the domain is, you're going to type at the end of that the word admin, and it will take you to a page like this. You'll have a username and password to type in. And Skip, I've given you a temporary password and username. You can log into this as well. It's in the email that I sent. So you'll click log in, and it'll take you to a page that looks like this. Okay, it just kind of defaults to the page screen. So up here you're going to see three main menus: contact, media, and pages. I'll describe each one of these and how they work. So as you just click on pages, this takes you to a list of your pages. Now at the left of this, you'll see these numbers. That's the order number. So say I want to take the volunteer menu and I want to put it to number 4. And then you click back on it and you'll see volunteer now just became number 4. So it just kind of shuffles everything around correctly. So that's how you'll move everything around. Go back to this menu. To go to one of these pages to edit, you just simply click on the word, or you can click on this thing over here that says edit page. It'll get you to the same place. At the far right-hand corner, you'll see these radio buttons. What that's for is whatever is clicked is your home page. So right now, I've created this little thing called home, and that is your home page. And you can create a new page by either going right here. It says click create new home page. You can also, at this drop-down, you'll see create new home page. Or on any of the screens like this that you edit a page, you'll see create new page. Any one of these will get you to the same place. So I'm going to show you how to do this from scratch. All right, so the first thing you see it up at the top, this is your URL up here. Right now it says woodlands.tedwebdesign.com. When I move this over, this will change. This little box right here, what this is for, if you don't put anything in here, then what the address, this up at the URL, it'll have some like, ID equals 135F. So it'll have, just a bunch of gibberish up there. If you want it to be kind of unique and kind of customize it, whatever you call this is what will show up in your URL. So I'm going to call this test for right now. And that's what will show up in my URL box up at the top. One of the things, this has to be unique. So if you create one page and call it test, you can't create another page and call it test because it'll confuse it. And you'll get an error message telling you you cannot do that. So the next box right here, right now it just defaults to new page. That's your menu item. So that's what's going to show up in the menu. So we're going to call this menu test. This box right here says main menu. If I leave that to main menu, it will show up in that main menu bar on your website. But if you want it as a sub menu, you drop this down and this will be all the main menus that you've already created. It'll auto-populate itself and it'll automatically create a sub menu of that. So I'm going to make this a sub menu of history. This thing right here says display page. What this is for is if you want to create a page but you're not ready to publish it yet, then leave this unchecked. That way it won't show up online, it won't show up in the menu bar. But in order to put it on the site, you have to click display page. What it does is basically publish the page. This box right here is your title page. So we'll call this title test. And then this is where it's your basic text editor. Just type in some letters. And then you can do your basic formatting, italic, bold, underline, strikeout, that kind of sort of thing. You have sizes, you have some just basic colors. You can change the font a little bit. Don't go too crazy with this. I try to tell clients, just leave it what it's defaulted to. Otherwise, you just end up with a big mess on the page. This other stuff I'll get to in a second. So I just created a page. I'm going to go ahead and click Display, create my new page. It says page was successfully created, so I know it's created. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. Go to Woodlands. All right, so there's your site. And remember I said I created a submenu of history? There it is right there. Menu test. And if I click on it, there's my little title and there's my text. That's how you do a basic, edit of your pages. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to admin, and you'll see that little test title test is that submenu of history. It put itself right there. And if I go into this, I can move it around. I can make it a main menu. I can make it a submenu of something else. I can do all this kind of stuff. So now let me show you the next level of this. Some kind of do's and don'ts. All right, so first thing, don't do this. It's called copying and pasting. A lot of people do this and they get in trouble. I'm going to go to another site that I've created, this festivalhill.org site. And you see this text on the page? I'm just going to copy it. Oops, that's all right. Yeah, it's even better. So I'm just going to take all this, I'm just going to copy it, okay? Now, this is what you don't want to do. And let me explain why in just a second. I'm going to go back to your admin page. And this is what people do. They'll just click in the box and they'll paste it right in. And what it does is it literally pastes everything. It pastes the formatting, colors, images, all this kind of stuff. You don't want to do this, and here's why. There's a bunch of code that's behind this thing. Matter of fact, if you click on this button called HTML, you can see it. This is what it looks like behind the scenes. And it's copied all this stuff that looks like this that you don't see on the page. That's actual code. And I'm going to flip this back to, so that if you click the HTML, if you really want to get fancy, this is how you can go in and actually not just type in text, but type in code that will manipulate things. Some people like to be able to do this on their own. Some people don't want to mess with it. But that's how you do it. You just click on the little HTML button. And then to get back, you go into design mode, and that takes you back into design mode. So one of the things you don't want to do is, especially copy and paste out of a Word document. Everybody does this. It's very tempting. They'll go into a Word document, they'll format it a certain way because they're more familiar with it, and do a copy and paste. The problem is, especially with Microsoft Word, there's tons and tons of code that's behind the scenes that you don't see. But the problem is that code in Microsoft Word does not communicate well with browsers, and so what'll happen is A, it won't look like you think it does, and B, it probably will break the page. You'll start getting all these weird characters and strange things. So this is what not to do. All right, so now that I told you what not to do, let me show you how to do it. So I'm just going to go, that's not going to work because I went too far. I'm going to delete all this out. I'm just highlighting it, and that's how you delete. I'm going to go back and do this again. Let's say that I want to get text and stuff off of your old site. You don't want to have to retype it. So you go back to your admin page. Now, instead of pasting it directly into this text box, what you do is you click on this clipboard icon. It says paste content. Click on that, and you're going to paste it into there. And what's happening is it's stripping out all the formatting and, more importantly, all the code behind the scenes, and it's just turning the text into straight plain text. And then you paste it in as plain text, and now from here you can do your formatting correctly, and it will format it correctly for a website. Okay, so that's how you do a copy and paste. All right, now the other thing you're going to want to know how to do is images. All right, so let me just save this. So in order to put a file, that's basically what we're doing, is something other than text. So let's say a PDF or an image or an audio file, something like that you want to put on the site. You put it in here, but you have to get it up on the server first because it's a separate thing. It's a file. So you're going to click this button that says Media. And media doesn't just mean, and as you can see, I've been kind of playing with this thing. I'm going to start all over so I can demonstrate to you how to use this. I'm going to delete all this stuff off of here. So media is anything that's one of these: images, PDF, audio. Okay, you can also put a zip file through here too if you want. But these are your basics. All right, so it's really simple. Click Add New Media. Go to your computer, and I'm going to click this thing. It says it's a drum image I have on my computer. JPEGs are the best to use because you can manipulate them very easily. You can change sizes, and they're small, and which allows for the browser to load really fast. PNGs you can also use, which are, you can do transparencies with them, but you really can't manipulate size and that sort of thing, and they'll end up bogging the server, or sorry, the browser down, especially if the original image is very large and then you resize it. It'll really pull the load time down. Don't do TIFFs. Matter of fact, I think I've coded it so that you can't do TIFFs. There's certain browsers that won't read a TIFF and certain browsers that will, so you'll end up with all sorts of breaking problems. Bitmaps are okay, but bitmaps are kind of an old school and the clarity's not very good. So we're going to stick with JPEG. So all you do is click on it and it'll just automatically upload it. Boom, there it is. So now it's on the server. You can see the address. You can view it. Filters, that's something down the road we'll get into. Once you start getting a ton of these, you kind of want to filter them down so that it's not so hard to find them. And you just click delete if you want to delete it. All right, so that's an image. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a PDF up here for you. Haha. Just so happens I got the Brit Master Agreement, and it takes a little bit longer to load. And you can see it loading, and it's up. And you can know it's a PDF because it's got a little PDF icon right here. Also, you can see this thing that says sizes. You don't need to be too worried about size. What this is for is I have some clients that don't really know what they're doing, and they'll upload these massive files, like these 5, meg images, and they'll have like 100 of them up there. And before you know it, they're chewing up like 2 gigs of hard drive space. And I'll have to call them up and either, we got to come to some agreement here because you're chewing up my server. But generally, I wouldn't worry about this. I don't think you guys are going to have a problem. And lastly, let me throw up an audio file. I don't know if you'll have audio files, but I'll just show you how to do it. I'm going to pick one that's relatively small. Here, this one's small. Just to get it up here and show you how to use it. And it's up. There we go. And if it's an audio file, you have a speaker. All right, so we have an audio file, PDF, image. That is now on the server because in our media directory, you can track all this stuff down. And if you want to filter it out, like if you just want to look at images, that's what this is for. I can filter it out into just PDFs or just audio files or just images to kind of get to them faster. All right, now let me show you how to put this on a page. I'm going to go back to my test page we created, and I'm going to put an image right here. Okay, so you have these icons up here. This is your PDF icon right here. If you want a PDF, you click on that. This is a zip file icon right here. If you want to insert a zip file, you do that. This is my insert image, and this is my insert audio. So I want to insert an image. Okay, now you click this, and it'll bring up your kind of image library. Right now I have one. You should see an arrow over here to the side. You click that, and it'll pull this little slider down. Let me just explain to what these are. This thing on the right, positioning should be kind of obvious. Left will position on the left side of the page, center of the page, right on the right side of the page. Alt tag, you don't need to worry about that too much. What that's for is really like deaf people. When blind people blind people, not deaf people. When blind people come to a website, obviously they can't see it, and so they have what's called text readers. And the text reader just will read everything on the website, but then when it gets to an image, what it's looking for is called an alt tag, which means alternate tag. And the text reader will read that, and so it'd be something like image of a tree, If there's nothing in the alt tag, then it starts reading the actual code of the image, which will annoy them. And so that's what that's for. Original size, if you keep it to original size, then it will upload whatever size you set it to. If you want to resize it, you click one of these. These are all width sizes, and then it does a ratio. It takes that width, does a ratio to the another size that it likes. So I'm going to keep it to original size because I know that size, I think it was pretty small. And I'm going to click this post image. Boom. It posted it to the left side because that's where I wanted it. And you can see how easy that is. So now let me show you how to do a PDF. I clicked in the text editor. I'm going to put my link right there, and it's going to be a link once you're done. Click on the PDF icon. Okay, here's my PDF. I'm going to click on that. Okay, so link name is going to be what you want the link to say. So let's say, for example, I want it to say, click me to open this PDF. So whatever I type in there is what the link is going to say. These two terms says target, one has blank, one has self. What that is if you leave it to blank, which it defaults to, it'll open up another tab when it opens up the PDF. If you leave it to self, it'll actually write that PDF on top of the page, basically taking the person off the website. So don't click self unless you really, really want to. Just keep it set to blank. And I'm going to click Post PDF. You can see right here, it says click me to open this PDF. And if you click on it, it'll open up the PDF. Always make sure you update when you're done. We'll go back to your website. Here's my little website page that I set up. And there you see. And there's my little PDF. You click on it. Boom, there's the PDF that I uploaded. Okay, so that gives you an idea how to do but just basic pages. I'm going to go ahead and go in. So I want to delete that page. I just click delete. It'll always ask me, are you sure you want to do this? Because, you know, I've had people delete it like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Go back over to my media, and I'll take this out of your media gallery. Okay, last but not least, contacts. All right, this is going to be really important. So if you click on contacts and you click search, ooh, I will get this fixed. I know what that's. I will get that fixed before I send this out to you. If you click on search, it'll give you a list of the people that are in there. Skip, this is how you will get to your name. And then I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and go create new contact. So right here, this is how you click to create somebody as an administrator. I went ahead and created a couple other categories. You know, we might want to use this down the road, like staff member, board member. Right now, user is the most important one. So if I fill this out, or you can come here to edit, you have a username. You'll have to make sure and create the person first. Once you create it, then you can click this little thing that says change password, and what will happen is this will fold down, and you type your password. You'll type it in twice. You'll save this, and then it will save that information. And this is how you, if you want somebody else to get into the back end to change stuff, this is where they would go in to do that. So that's basically it. That's kind of a rough idea of how everything works. So what I want you to do now is I want you to play with it, get it all set up the way you want to. I'm quite sure you're going to have questions as you do this. Couple of kind of helpful hints. I hope you don't mind. I've been doing this for a long time, and everybody in the very beginning immediately starts going into the, can you change this? Can you change that? Can you change this color? Kind of live with it for a while. Usually it's just kind of the sign of being a new site. And also, if we could wait to any like big major changes until I come down in August, it'll just be so much easier and so much faster for us to do it in person rather than trying to do it back and forth through an email. So I hope that helps. I hope you guys like it. Please use it, and if you have questions, let me know, and we'll take it from there. Love you guys. Thanks you for everything, and I will be in touch. Bye.